We have the Ayatollah of fantasy rock and roller with us today, Adam Rank. How you doing, Rank?
They look great in person, and I just can't wait till next year where we can pack it full of 25,000.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I didn't know it was Ball Guys Day. It was being ranked. I mean, how do you lose?
This is the Dynasty Vipers ViperCast.
And welcome to the Dynasty Vipers special draft day mock draft presented by, well, the Dynasty Vipers. We are doing a little bit of a mock draft tonight for you, just to kind of go over the silver screen, a little fictitious edition, so to speak, as our 32 analysts will be drafting your favorite football players from the movies, from the TV, wherever that might be, to their teams here. So with that being said, we want to get right into this right away. We want to bring in the general manager for the Jacksonville Jaguars, FF Man Bond. Welcome, Gabe. How you doing?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Are we still allowed to call you Dingus? What's up, Matt? Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great here. I've been called a lot worse than Dingus, so I'll take it when I can get it. That's kind of how Twitter, I guess, kind of knows me. So we'll kind of roll with Commissioner Dingus Goodell, so to speak, for this event here. And basically, with that being said, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock, and you guys got some needs there all over. You guys are looking at quarterback. You guys could look at some maybe defensive end stuff there, some edge rushers, possibly even some guy there in the secondary. So kind of talk us through. You got the first overall pick. This is a franchise-defining moment for the Jaguars. What went into this whole process? Well, and while you're doing that, I'm going to bring in the Jets general manager, FF Larry Monkey, to join us as well.
Well, I'll tell you, I think it's at this point a little obvious what the Jaguars are actually doing. And when you first asked me on, I was like, well, am I supposed to relate this to the pick at all? So I started thinking players that kind of, looked like Trevor Lawrence. Maybe some Riggins or I don't know if you could swing Keanu in there with the hair. That I was trying to go for something with that. But just as far as a 101 character, just the best player that is available on the board, I didn't even see it as our Avi in our little group DM that we had leading up to this, but it ain't no one else but a third string quarterback in Willie Beeman. Now that seems entirely odd to do that. But when the opportunity arises, Beeman started beaming, and ain't nothing to it. It was easy for me. And I actually turned the movie on today, and I haven't seen that movie since I was probably a teenager, but my goodness, it doesn't age that well. So hopefully Trevor Lawrence ages a bit better with the Jaguars. And another reason I picked it real quick is because he's one of the most referenced players, like fictional football players in hip hop. And I've heard it in so many hip hop songs, and a couple of my favorites were from like Ludacris. He'd say, "They could catch my balls on any given Sunday, like my name's Willie Beeman." Drake would say he's throwing up in the huddle, Willie Beeman, but still throwing touchdown passes. He's everywhere.
So you got a little bit of you're grabbing the best player available in your mind there, who's going to a franchise-defining kind of quarterback there. But you're also looking at the promotional end of things too, because you can get some little deals going on, different kind of crowd coming down to Duval County.
Duval. Willie Beeman, baby.
Willie Beeman is the selection for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well,
go Sharks.
Hopefully things pan out well for you. And the Miami Sharks just moved on, graduated a good one there on that one. So with that being said, thanks for stopping in and making the selection. And we are going to move on to the New York Football Jets with the second selection in the 2021 ViperCast Draft Day Mock Draft.
Oh, and it is the New York Jets on the clock. Now, this was a tough decision that was made in earnest. We had a lot of fine prospects that are still out there, but another franchise-defining moment. I need a quarterback, and the Jets fans need a quarterback. So this was an easy decision, Matt Donnelly. With
Easy
the
decision.
second,
So
go ahead.
before we get into that second pick exactly here, there's some good quarterbacks on the board here. So what were the Jets looking for that signal caller moving forward?
He's got to have versatility. He's got to be accurate. He's got to have a nice deep ball. And I think the selection that the New York Jets have made with this second pick really focuses on those traits. And yeah, man, I think we're ready to rock and roll. So
Without further ado,
with the second pick in the NFL fictional mock draft, the New York Jets select Reno Hightower, quarterback, Taft Rockets. Now, let me just to give you a little background here. Now, Reno Hightower, he was a big-time high school quarterback. The Taft Rockets get blown out by their arch rivals every single year, Bakersfield. This one particular year, Reno Hightower dropping back, game-winning touchdown pass, boom, hits his good buddy Jack Dundee in the hands, and they did not win the game. Would have been the biggest upset in the world. Jack Dundee, his good buddy, also a wide receiver, was so distraught over dropping that pass. He gets another game together, gets the two towns involved. Reno Hightower straps back on the white cleats, drops a dime. Jack Dundee does not drop this one. It's pouring rain, game over. And you cannot underestimate he had this game won 2 times. So he just came in and did his business a second time. So yeah, he has all those traits to be a franchise quarterback. And not only that, we also have a connection to Snake Plissken. Now, go ahead and Google Snake Plissken if you want. But this guy went into New York already, rescued the president, got him out of there. Reno Hightower is coming to New York. He's going to rescue those Jet fans, and he's going to bring them a championship.
So with Hightower, you feel like you're getting a high character player here, right?
Absolutely.
He did everything he could for his hometown, and he's got that family bloodlines that saved the president of the United States at one point. So
exactly. Married his high school sweetheart, good character guy. And to have that leadership ability that your teammates will, put it all back on the line again to give you that opportunity to win that game. And he came through. So yeah, this was a no-brainer pick for me. I know there's a lot of, like I said, great prospects that are out there, but yeah, I got to go Reno Hightower. This is a no-brainer, baby. Taft Rockets.
Well, hopefully this Reno Hightower pans out, because we've had a little bit of an issue here last few years with first-round quarterbacks not taking their team to the promised land. And with this draft, there's a lot of teams that are looking for a new franchise quarterback, and there's plenty of quarterbacks out there on the draft board. So we'll see if Reno pays off for you here in the long run.
Without a doubt.
So with that all being said, the San Francisco 49ers, who moved up to pick number 3 to get this selection because they know they got their guy. The San Francisco 49ers are on the clock here right now. So we're going to bring in the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers, and that's Major Caldwell. How you doing there, sir?
I'm good. What's going on?
Hey, you know what? We're here. We're having a little bit of a mock draft here. We're waiting on some of the other owners to come into the room here with us, but you've had some time to think about this selection here, and I'm interested who this is going to be. So I'm going to turn it over to you and kind of talk through your process, make the selection, and let us know.
All right, so I'm always trying to find a cheat code in anything I do. So the player that I selected, I'm getting a 2-for-1. You gotta love a reboot. This guy fell into trouble with the law, so that kind of made me look a different way a little bit. but he showed great character when he took a group of just prisoners and degenerates and took them and won a big game. He showed great character when he was offered less time if he were to throw the game, but he didn't. They even offered him. They told him to give him 25 years if he didn't win the game. So, or if he won the game, he would get 25 years. So he didn't care and just like, hey, you know what? Do what you got to do. I'm gonna win this game. So he showed great character, great leadership. And any person who survives prison, and that shows you have great like survival skills, a great reserve. So we're looking for toughness and leadership. We're moving on from Jimmy G. Then we're going to trade him to the Patriots. So with the third pick, we select Paul Wrecking Crew, Mean Machine.
So that's an interesting pick for me. So you guys weren't concerned about the red flags that come with him being in prison and spending time down there. So you're okay with that? Everything kind of checks out for you?
Everything checks out. We did a deep DD on him, and we found that all the players on the prison team loves him. He helps out so many people. He's just a great leader. So I went with him on that. And like I said, I get a 2-for-1. I get the great Burt Reynolds, and I also get Adam Sandler. So that's why I went with him, so I can get that cheat code. I got a 2-for-1.
So then my one question is, in the championship game, he only threw for about 150 yards. Are you comfortable running your offense through him? Because he kind of comes across as a, dare I say it, a game manager.
With our team and our young talent, I'm okay with having a great game manager. So that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for a hot shot. We're not looking for a guy with a rocket arm. We're looking for someone who can corral the team and take them to the next level, and that's what we're looking for. And that's what we got with Paul.
With Paul Crew there. So that was your target the whole time? That's who you're aiming for? That's where you traded up for? You gave up future first-round picks? You really believe that this is the guy? You're not worried about him shaving points in San Francisco?
No, because when, he was offered by the warden to throw the game, and he would help him out, get him out of jail early, like a get out of jail free card, pass. He passed on it, and he did it for his teammates. He's a competitor. He wanted to beat the what do you call it? The guards, and and that's what they went out and he did. He did it for his teammates.
All right. Well, with that being said, you know what? We got Paul, the Wrecking Ball Crew, heading to San Francisco. And on the clock right now are the Atlanta Falcons. So we're just waiting on the card to get turned in from the Atlanta Falcons general manager here. So it should be in here shortly. While we're waiting on that, we've got, I believe, the Bengals general manager in here. We'll just kind of bring him in real quick as well. Who else we got here? Yeah, we got the Bengals general manager.
Can I say going into the draft, I was really high on Willie Beeman. I was really shocked when he got selected number 1. I thought some other players would have went there. That's why we traded up to get Willie Beeman. But I'm really happy with Paul Crew. Like I said, a 2-for-1. You got to love a good reboot.
All right. So while we're waiting on the Falcons to come in, we're going to go live to the Cincinnati Bengals general manager here and kind of talk him through this process. What's he hoping is going to slide down on the board for him here and how that's going to play out for the Bengals. But so here we go. Scott, you're in here. You're representing the Bengals. What are you looking for here?
Well, first of all, I'm the GM for the Bengals, so obviously I'm a huge Bengals fan, as you can tell by my tie-dye shirt and my printed-out Bengals poster. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty set with whoever might fall here. I have 2 players in mind, so one of them will definitely fall to 5, and I think our team will be happy. So I'm not gonna give anything away with positions or anything like that to the Falcons. Let them make a true pick, but I'm pretty happy about the options that'll be there for us.
That's good. So what kind of needs are you guys looking at addressing here in Cincinnati? You've got your quarterback. You got him last year. You're kind of looking around. Oh, man, I just lost my main screen. Okay, very good. You're kind of looking around. What are some of your biggest needs you think about? I've got the card in right now. Atlanta's turned it in, so we can kind of turn it over to you guys. You're kind of on the clock. You got your 10-minute warning going down here right now. Kind of talk me through this process of what Cincinnati is looking for. What kind of positional needs you guys have going forward?
Well, it depends on how you look at it from our angle. I would say I'm a pretty open and honest GM. So I would say a smart pick would probably be to bolster our offensive line with a solid offensive tackle at this spot. But I'm down with a big flying offense. And so I know we have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. We got Burrow. We got Mixon. I'd like to get another stud receiver, to be honest. So those are our two needs, I would say, at this point, top of the list.
All right. Well, I've got the card here for the Atlanta Falcons here, so we're going to go ahead and make this pick with the 4th overall selection in the 2021 draft. Oh, here we go. They are here. I don't have to make the pick.
Is he here?
Coming in from hot Atlanta. Lord, don't lose. How you doing?
What's good, man? I'm good. How y'all dudes doing, man? What's happening?
What's up, Lord?
Hey, we're getting ready. We're having a little draft here. The Atlanta Falcons, they're on the clock. You guys got some positional needs, some work, maybe looking for some edge rush here, maybe a wide receiver, maybe a tight end. What are you looking at here with this pick?
Yeah, man. So, the Falcons going to break the draft wide open. They could go a lot of different ways. People expect us to go on the offensive side of the ball, maybe tight end, receiver. What we going to do here is go defense. We're going to go linebacker / edge rusher. We're going to go with Bobby Boucher.
Nice.
Got to bring him in.
Bobby Boucher out of I believe it is Louisiana University, I think, is where he's coming out of there, or college.
Something crazy like SLMU University or something crazy like that. But
and he's going to come in and make an immediate impact for you guys. You guys don't have an edge rush right now.
Not at all, like non-existent. Like the man had 16 sacks in one game, right? I think that's more sacks than the Falcons had last season altogether. And all he had to do is picture you as somebody who don't like water, and he coming to get you.
Well, that's definitely one of those franchise-defining moments there. You've got your franchise quarterback, so to speak, on the defensive side of the ball. And you don't need your back end to perform when you got someone like Bobby Boucher coming off the edge and going after that quarterback.
And the crazy thing about it is he's doing it with a 1-bar face mask. So you know he is savage.
That's a throwback right there. He's like pushed on. I think he's actually sharing. He actually shares that helmet with the kicker sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The kicker with the gold tee.
Well, I'm interested to see how this is going to work out for the Falcons, because Bobby Boucher is definitely a difference maker. He was one of the highest rated guys on our board. Are you okay with his inexperience going forward? He was kind of a one-hit wonder coming up.
Yeah, because like I say, the talent is raw, but it's there. He could come up the middle. He could rush off the edge. He can even jump over the lineman to get to the quarterback. So that's what's even more crazy. He's good at causing fumbles. So that's everything the Falcons want and definitely need on their defense.
All right, that's good. We're going to move along here. We're going to hit over to Cincinnati and get their official pick. And hopefully we have the Houston Texans getting ready to come in here right away as well. So, Atlanta, thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
All right, y'all. Take it easy.
All right, Cincinnati. Now you're officially on the clock. We just seen Bobby Boucher come off the board. I know that was a guy that even you guys were looking at. But you guys
on our board for sure.
Who's that pick now for you guys? You mentioned you needed a big wide receiver.
All right. Well, with the 5th pick in this draft, the Bengals choose Deacon Moss, wide receiver, Mean Machine.
That's now officially the second Mean Machine product to come off the board. Mm-hmm. Now, like San Francisco with Paul Crew, Are you concerned? Are there any red flags with you, again, out of him coming straight out of the penal system?
Well, I mean, yes, there are some red flags. In this situation, his generational talent, whatever that means in our eyes, kind of trumps those red flags. I mean, his BMI isn't very good. His breakout age is terrible. It's awful. But, after watching his film, and not just the YouTube videos, we actually watched the whole movie. He's an all-around excellent receiver. I mean, he makes the contested catches. He makes catches in traffic. He is excellent at high pointing the ball. He's a vicious downfield blocker. So, I mean, he really is the whole package. He plays with a chip on his shoulder ever since his buddy Caretaker got blown up in a freak stereo accident. So, I mean, he's got that chip on his shoulder. And on top of all that, he also plays basketball. So that automatically means he's good. So, I mean, he's got a lot going for him aside from the typical analytical issues, with his breakout age being pretty old. So, I mean, we think we're getting a dominant wide receiver one, an alpha wide receiver one that's going to dominate for years. I mean, coming into this draft, he averaged 5 catches a game, 72 yards a game, 2 touchdowns a game, 14 yards per reception, 1 2-point conversion a game. He dominated every single game he played. So, he's so good. We feel like he's basically already a Hall of Famer.
I'm glad you said, because he definitely reminds me of Michael Irvin coming out of college. So I think you've got yourself a fantastic pick going forward there. With that said, the Houston Texans, you guys are now on the clock with the selection. I'm going to bring you up in here for a little bit of talk us through your guys' process here with the 6th overall pick.
Matt, thank you for having us on here. I'm glad to have BC on here, being such a comic book fan. Guys, the guy fell into my lap. As a Houston Texans GM, you have to have the defensive side of the ball correct, and you have to have the offensive side of the ball correct. I get to fill both of these positions, the middle linebacker and the quarterback, with the 1.06 in Vic Stone out of Metropolis High School, full ride scholarship to Metropolis U. Boy, AKA Cyborg from the Justice League. He's the only person in this draft that has saved the world and then will also throw a football. Literally has a cannon for an arm. He never gets tired. He's half robot, half man. He's running analytics on the field on your players as they're playing in real time. He runs the 40 in like a 0.04. So what else do you want in an athlete? He is hands down the best athlete in the class because he's half robot. So couldn't be happier with my selection in Vic Stone. Welcome home, sir.
That's definitely an interesting selection there, and we'll see how this plays out for you. Hopefully he can stay charged and refreshed the whole season for you, because
I'm hoping so. Donnelly.
Are you comfortable? There was times that I seen some frustration that would build up in his game there a little bit, and he became frustrated with even being half robot. It's almost like he wanted to be a full man at times, and there was that frustration that kind of poured out a little bit. Are you think you guys can control that?
I don't know if we can control it as much as I want to harness it. So I'm going to harness that and let him just do him on the field. He's going to be the offensive coordinator on the field. He's going to run the plays. He's going to know what to do. He's going to run point for us. So I absolutely love Vic Stone. Can't wait for you to come down to Houston and eat some jambalaya, man.
All right. And with that being said, we know Victor Stone, he's heading down to Houston. And that brings us up to the Motor City Madness there in Detroit. Detroit BC representing. What do you guys got going on there?
Well, Victor Stone is a fantastic selection. I mean, you can't get much better than that. He could take on the whole league by himself. A guy can throw his own passes and fly. But I'm here to talk about the LA Stallions. His name, people that might haven't heard of him. His name is Jimmy Nix. He played for, like I said, for the LA Stallions. But I want to kind of talk about his off the field issues because it paints a better picture of him as a man and him as a professional athlete. So Jimmy Nix was kicked out of the league for gambling and drug abuse after a nasty injury. And come to find out, the general manager and the owner of the team, Sheldon Marcaine, was running drugs and alcohol, and he was letting players bet through him. And then when they couldn't deliver, they kind of, got the heave ho here. But Jimmy Nix, he went through some tough times. He linked up with Joe Hollenbach, an LA detective who was once one of the higher end Secret Service agents of all time. Saved the president, was shot and out of a job because of that. But I love Jimmy Nix because, especially in today's day and age, boys, everybody deserves a second chance. Everybody, in some cases, a third and fourth chance. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but Jimmy Nix has that grit that I look for in an organizational quarterback. He can lead the team off and on the field. And when you get to a place where he was being so down and out and low and being kicked out of the league, it makes you appreciative of the good things. When times are good and you're doing well, you appreciate that much more. It turns you into kind of a stop and smell the roses kind of guy, enjoy the journey kind of guy. And Jimmy Nix can do that for the Detroit Lions organization, linked up with another city who was down and out, has some grit, has worked their way back. And I firmly believe that Jimmy Nix can lead this organization to the promised land.
Well, I hope you're right. This has all the makings to be a fantastic redemption story there. And Jimmy Nix, he is a difference maker. He can play. And if he can exercise those demons and focus on what's in front of him, he could be a great addition to the Detroit Lions there. And you might have to send Axel Foley just to kind of keep an eye on him on the side. So
absolutely. Axel will be in the locker room thinking that he's in Detroit, having, Paul Reiser call Chief Gill or whatever his name was, and everything's going to be okay for Jimmy Nix. If he can turn this around and realize that what he's doing on the field, playing professional football, is a gift, then boy, oh boy, do we have a stud here for the Lions.
All right. Well, speaking of studs, the Carolina Panthers are on with their babyface general manager who's stepping up to the plate here. So, Detroit, best of luck with the selection of Jimmy Nix. Carolina, you are now on the clock.
Well, looking at this draft, all, quarterbacks, wide receivers, you had, I guess, 2 linebackers, no offensive lineman went. And Carolina needs a tackle or someone who can play that versatile role. And there's nobody better. And I don't know if you guys have seen his, since he's gone out of college, but Louis Lastik from Remember the Titans. Look at this before and after. You're telling me that you don't want that guy to be your right tackle? The guy, look, come on. Like, how could this guy fall this far? He's trimmed down the weight. He might have a concussion problem, but I need him to protect Sam Darnold, and I feel like he is the most nasty offensive lineman in this draft, and he's a great team leader. He brought everybody together in the locker room, great singer, and kind of, in the real NFL draft, like a Landon Dickerson, a guy that you just want to root for and want to be on your football team.
Well, I think the biggest thing going for him is you see that physical transformation he made from high school to college, and it's like light and day. He went from the kind of that, that soft underbelly type of guy to getting that bit of a mean streak. He got that nice bod going on, and then he just got nasty out there. It was pancaking people all over the place. So that's going to be a fantastic addition to the Carolina Panthers there, especially if you're looking to protect your quarterback who happens to see ghosts.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a franchise quarterback. I know you were thinking about it. Don't say that out loud. If there was a quarterback available, I would have taken one. Let's just say that.
Well, with that said, I know a team that's also looking at the quarterback position. They're currently on deck, and they're probably happy that you went with the offensive tackle and Louis Lastik out of Williams High, TC Williams High, to be honest, straight up out of high school there. Let's head over to the Denver Broncos with the next selection of the draft here.
What's up, Matt?
Not a whole heck of a lot here. Just kind of do a little multitasking, having a little fun, talking a little football, and let's see, trying to build some franchises back up.
So, the Broncos need a quarterback. You're right. You're totally right. And I can't think, honestly, of a better quarterback than, really, essentially John Wick. Oh, good Lord. Shane Falco. Shane Falco of the Washington Sentinels, who also played John Wick. And the Broncos need a magician at quarterback, like a magician, because it ain't working. And they're loaded and they're stacked at every other position. But man, they need a quarterback. Oh, hey there, Bo.
Hey.
So the one question, there's that one red flag with Shane Falco going back to the bowl game there. I believe he was with Ohio State at the time.
That's correct.
Was it the Fiesta Bowl that he really struggled there? And there was some worries and concerns that he couldn't get his feet going because he was stuck in quicksand. Are you comfortable the fact that he's going to be able to get his head right and perform for you guys? I know there's no quicksand in the Mile High, but are you guys okay with those kind of flags?
It's still better than Drew Lock. Maybe he can't dance like Drew Lock.
Gotta be.
But Drew Lock is he can dance, man. The kid's got rhythm and flow, but he does not have a good arm, and he does not make good decisions. And I'll take the guy who maybe wasn't super great in college, made some mistakes, made some personal mistakes, but wants to win, as we saw when he later in his life and career played John Wick.
Well, I think that's going to be a good addition there. If he can get that head straight, he's not going to be worried about pressure building up on him. I think he could be a leader. And
it's a small market.
And you've got a quarterback already in Drew Lock. You got another one in Teddy Bridgewater. Why not draft another quarterback and see how that works out? But obviously you're not comfortable with either one of those quarterbacks. So the selection of Shane Falco makes complete sense for you guys.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, on deck, on the clock right now are the Dallas Cowboys, and they've got needs all over. Let's see if they address it here, and we'll bring in their general manager here, Bo, to kind of talk us through this process.
What do you mean? I'm not Bo. I'm Jared Jones.
Jared Jones in the house.
So, yeah, it's there's a lot of needs. Luckily for the Cowboys, a lot of the needs come at positions that are really deep in this year's class. And so I decided that I was sick and tired of the defense not stopping the run, not getting after the quarterback. So I went with the guy who occupies the strong side of the line at Williams High. And remember the Titans? That is strong side, Julius Campbell.
It's Julius Campbell. What do you expect? What do you think you're going to get out of him going forward this year? What drew? There's a lot of good edge rushers out there on the board. What made Julius Campbell the 101 amongst the edge class?
He's just got the it factor. He's got flair. He's powerful. He's driven. He's good. He's good with Bertier's mama. So if Bertier's mama likes you, I like you. And so Julius is just a one-of-a-kind athlete, and his motivation comes from within. He's super talented, obviously, and until Bertier kind of whipped him into shape and said, "Hey, you got more than you think, like going for you. Take on the challenges and go after that quarterback and take over." They gave him the confidence to take it to the next level. And he's got a bright future ahead of him.
So are you any concerned? We know he's got the athletic tools. He kind of put that there was a tragic injury to his teammate there, and how that all kind of played out. How do you feel about the mental state of Julius Campbell moving forward?
I think that experience of almost losing his best friend in that car accident kind of galvanized his spirit to where he's going to be playing for Gary a lot. He's got a fan for life there, and I think he's too talented to leave on the board for another team that needs an edge rusher. Give me all the Julius. He's too good to pass up at number 10.
Well, I like that. You got a high character guy that can help bring a team together, and you can bring the left side in with the right side. You can bring, the practice guys are no different than the starters. He's that kind of a glue guy that's going to perform for you going forward. So I absolutely love that selection here. We're going to move on. We're going to bring Philadelphia GM in here while we wait for the general manager of the New York Giants.
Boy.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. This is a beautiful combination. We got Dallas, then we come up with New York, and then we've got Philadelphia all back to back to back. Are you guys looking over each other's shoulder here? Who's picking who? Like, is there like more of a paying attention to what you guys are doing than maybe normal?
I'm trying to snipe both of them.
I'm going strictly team need.
Basing it off the team need. That's are you more of a team need guy, or are you a best player available kind of guy?
Honestly, with the Eagles, I'm going team need because they have a glaring need at wide receiver, and if they want their quarterback to succeed in Jalen Hurts, then they need to give him some weapons. So I went with Rod Tidwell of Jerry Maguire, straight out of ASU. He had, let's see, his last season, 110 receptions and 1,500 yards. It's tough to match that type of offensive firepower anywhere else in the draft. So he comes with some baggage, but the Eagles are used to baggage. They dealt with Terrell Owens. They had to. I think they're okay. I think they can deal with it.
Well, that's. I think Tidwell is definitely the kind of guy that you're looking for. You want to get that offense kick-starting. You guys got Arcega Whiteside. You got Jalen Reagor. You guys don't have a lot of options in the passing game right now. So bringing in Tidwell is probably going to be one of your guys' best options there. You had needs at corner, obviously a wide receiver. So what put the wide receiver position is more of a value than the cornerback position?
I think the need to help Jalen Hurts succeed. You don't want to send in a first-year starter with a mediocre, sub-mediocre receiver core.
I can't disagree with that at all, because that was definitely one of the problems you guys' offense going on. We just seen Dallas went after and got themselves an edge rusher. We know that right before you, the Giants, they made a selection as well. So I want to bring in the Giants general manager here right now to kind of talk about their selection while we're on the clock. Steffi, who did you guys take with pick number 11? I think you might be on mute there, Steph.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay, just in Gettleman form, I'm trying to botch this entire thing, which is really on brand, right? So we're staying on brand. With being on brand, we're going to go hog volley. Give me the biggest dude you can think of. Give me 7'1". Give me 347 pounds, fullback that we're going to make a tackle, maybe a guard. I don't really know, but it's going to be Turley.
Going with the Mean Machine product again. So this is now the third member of the Mean Machine being selected off the board, and he's probably the biggest of them all. So obviously you got Daniel Jones. He's your guy there. You guys are committed to him, and now you're protecting him. Is that important to make sure you're protecting Daniel Jones and giving him that time to work with his new weapons there in Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard, Saquon Barkley, making sure there's a nice hole for him to run through?
Of course, you've secured everything else, right? You've given the weapons, everything's there. The defense is on point. And what you need to do is make sure that the crappiest O-line in the league can pull it together. And this is the way to do that. You take Turley on there, and then you secure Daniel Jones being able to have the time, make the decisions he needs to make. And then if he fails, then he fails. But at least you're giving him that opportunity.
That may be the most on-brand Dave Gettleman choice that we've ever seen so far.
I want to be Gettleman. I'm trying to embrace that Gettleman.
Ooh, are you sure you want to say that?
Not fully. Gettleman can barely work a computer, so that's why I wasn't able to, get on here as fast as everyone else. But you hear the word Sasquatch and you want Turley, and then you can't even think about anything else.
So now that you kind of secured that big offensive tackle / fullback, kind of flex them wherever you want, what are some other targets you may be looking at a little bit later of addressing some needs? Are you looking at maybe on the secondary side of things, maybe looking at corner, maybe looking at linebacker a little bit later in the draft?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not too high on getting a cornerback. It's too high in this draft, but you take them later, that's cool. Linebacker, cool, but you can add another weapon too. You grab another wide receiver, and why not? You're asking for success there. So it's going to depend on Turley and the Mr. Daniel Jones that not everyone is very fond of.
Well, hopefully this works out, because one of the things that we've always been talking about with these Mean Machine players is the red flags and the character of that player. And you're okay with that with Turley, or is that something you actually drew you to him?
Yeah, of course, because now we have Joe Judge. Joe Judge can handle any character problem you can think of. You name it. That dude's got it under lock, Handle the Golden Tate. He's got it. He's cool. He can handle the character. He can take it on. So I'm going to trust in him to handle that situation.
All right, that's fantastic. And with that being said, the LA Chargers are on the clock, and General Manager Bob Harris is in the house to make the selection for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Greetings, humans.
Greetings to you as well.
All right, so this is a pretty clear-cut need here to protect the franchise, right? We got to keep Justin Herbert in the locked and upright position. I felt like maybe Turley was a guy I could have gone for, right, and done the same move. But instead, I'll try it with another guy, the most ferocious pass protector we've ever seen in film history. Told as the practice began, no one's allowed to hit the quarterback. In comes Sampson, Richard Keel pounds through the line, and my guy, Shockner, breaks his effing nose. That's the kind of guy you need supporting Justin Herbert. It would be Shockner, the psychotic martial artist serial killer from the original Longest Yard.
Well, and that was one of the first things I noticed when I was watching the film on him is once that pressure came in from the outside there, he was not afraid to step up and pop a guy right in the nose, like you mentioned there. He got him good. Yeah. And when you've got a franchise quarterback like Justin Herbert, you want to make sure he's protected at all times and at all costs. Are you okay with a couple penalties there? Just kind of set that tone for
right. Big Conrad Doubler fan back in the day. Yes, I'm old. So yeah, absolutely. This is fine with me. In fact, I think, given his martial arts skills and my willingness to let him use them and take the associated flags, I would go ahead and say, yeah, I could move him up to tackle and he'd still be, knocking some noses sideways.
Well, I think that's a fantastic pick there. And he's not just a one-trick pony. You can play him outside. You can probably even bring him in.
Very versatile.
Yeah, there's other options for him. He's not just that fullback. You probably give him a little bit of some touches there in the running game. There's going to be a point when he's touching the ball, and after he gets tackled a few times, opposition may be thinking twice about bringing him down to the ground. That may not be a place you want to go with him.
He wasn't really all in on playing until he found out it was against the guards. So I think every game you're going to have to lie and tell him it's like a different city's guards that he's playing against. But, as long as he believes they are prison guards, I think we'll be okay.
Well, I think that's a fantastic pick there. And that is now, I believe, the fourth Mean Machine member coming off the board. We're only 13 picks into this draft. And the Mean Machine is definitely a pipeline to the National Football League, so to speak. And it's very interesting about everyone must have done their homework and checked off all these concerns and red flags that come with this penal system. That this penal system must be doing a good job at rehabbing their players.
Or not. Or not. Ideally, maybe the not. But, these are film, creations. So I'm hopefully thinking that doesn't represent the entirety of society. But in my case, I think this was great. You could tell the minute they went in to recruit him, Burt Reynolds walks up and says, "Hey, you like to play football? Yeah. You want to play with us? No. We're playing the guards? Yes." Boom. It was the total buy-in right then and there. You could see it in his eyes, and he demonstrated on the field. Poor Sampson, though. It was hard for him. Richard Keel, one of the greats.
That was tough to watch Samson take because he's a big dude. It kind of showed a softer side to him. That might have actually hurt his draft value.
The faux apology, that he accepted, just had to have the apology. I thought that was the best part, right? Okay, I'm sorry. He said he was sorry. It was great.
All right, and with that being said, I think we've got the Minnesota Vikings coming up. They're on the clock right now. Evan, can you still hear me? Can you hear me fine now?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay, so it sounds like he can't hear right now. So I'm going to let him know that the Vikings are on the clock, and
go ahead and talk.
I just sent a little message here, and with the Vikings, you guys
Can you
have
hear
the
me
time
okay?
to talk. Here we go.
We can hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Thanks, Bob.
We're having some technical difficulties with the Vikings. If you recall correctly, I believe it was 2003 when the Vikings were on the clock and they let the clock pass and their pick was skipped.
Yeah, so this is fitting right into real life.
I got multiple Evans on my screen now. Hopefully, we've got the right general manager of the Vikings here now.
Apologies. Thanks so much for having me tonight. So unfortunately, we did get sniped a couple of times on the run-up. Zimmer was very specific in his instructions. He wants us to build the defense. Wants us to be better. He's well known as a defensive coach. But the best player on the board left for us here, we felt was Pete Jones, linebacker safety hybrid out of Williams High, teammate of Julius that got taken a couple of picks earlier. Thanks very much, Cowboys. But yeah, no, we were very excited with his background in, the running game, his offensive background now switched over to defense. We love that versatility and the understanding of the different schemes. I think in this day and age, in the NFL, you need that the fluidity to be able to play multiple positions, to be able to understand different schemes, and we just think he brings a lot to the table. So we're really excited to have him be a running mate with Eric Kendricks, get that defense back up and running big plays.
I agree. I think that's whenever you get a chance to get a hybrid type player in there, you've got to kind of add that to your system, right? That's pretty much a guarantee, and you guys have done
Absolutely.
that. With you guys with multiple holes on that defense, you didn't get the production out of the corner. The name's slipping me right now, but he got himself in some legal trouble this offseason. So you're looking at fixing that problem as well. So corner is definitely a place you need to address. But linebacker safety, the dual threat here is probably too much to pass up on.
Exactly. I mean, some people, I think the reason he slipped a little bit is possibly some character concerns, some off-field issues. But honestly, Zimmer's a big locker room guy, and we feel really confident. We've had some great conversations with him. We feel really happy with where he's at and his desire to play for us, and be able to hopefully get us into those playoffs, get us in deeper run into the playoffs. I think defense is key for that. I think you're right in saying that in this day and age, you need that fluidity. You need the positionless players. We really feel like P.D. Jones brings that for us.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he plays. There's some talk that he might be a little undersized, but his athletic ability definitely makes up for it. And we'll see how this pays out for you guys going forward. And I think it's going to be a big addition there. He comes from a school there. He has a little bit maybe immaturity at first. It seems like he matured as the season progressed. And when you're talking to him, how do those conversations go?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, I think it's no secret, that he used to, like we said, he used to be on the offense, he used to be a running back, and then all of a sudden he's on the team and he's in, defense, but he's made some big plays. And so we had some really in-depth conversations there with both coaches, respect both of them. They're great men. Really just dove in deep into what is the character issues, what are the concerns, because locker room is so important here. And to be honest, like you said, it's something that he was a young man. There was a lot going on, and he continued to grow. He continued to make those right decisions. And to be honest, he passed with flying colors. I mean, from what we understand and there are no character concerns at this stage. We're happy. I mean, he seems really got a high motor. He's really excited to be part of the squad. We've had a chat with him. You know, he just seems really, really excited. Real funny guy. You know, nice guy to have in the squad, in the team. And you know, he honestly came across really humble and just really excited to be part of the group. You know, I had a couple of funny little, you know, your mama jokes even in the background there. It was just great. It was great to have him.
All right, that's good. And with that said, the team that probably doesn't use your mama jokes very often, the New England Patriots, are now on the clock. And General Manager Bob Gilchrist is here representing the team. Bob, kind of talk us through this process. You guys are on the clock here. And what are you looking for? What are the Patriots
We're
looking
first
for?
looking to trade down. That's just kind of our MO. I know in the chat I offered, you know, I want next year's first round pick. To move down and out of this spot because I thought I can get my player at the 28th, but it's who I want. It's a friend of mine stopped by the house today, and he actually dropped off a note. Where? There it is. Oh, it's on a Post-it. Let me unfold that for you. It basically says something like that. So I think I'm going to go with Vontae Mack. He seems like the right pick since in his draft he went 101. And to get him at the 15, I don't think Belichick would ever pass up that kind of value. I had a few other picks that I was leaning towards, acting like Belichick. Because he likes so many special teams players, which actually did not get selected. So is that all right if I mention those?
Yeah, you can throw a few extra picks out there. You think that are going to be good values later on in this draft. They may have got selected. We don't know yet, but.
Oh, okay. So I got like Forrest Gump is a great kick returner. And the number one kicker is Lucy, and I'm drawing a blank on her last name now.
That'd be Lucy Draper was the number one kicker on
number one kicker at South at Texas State University for unnecessary roughness. So back to my pick. The man was a stud. Not only did he take care of his nieces and nephews, but he was able to keep his grades up. He played for Ohio State. The character right there is completely somebody that the Patriots would draft.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it. You got a guy, Vontae Mack, no matter what. In some other drafts, he could have gone first overall, but you got some good value there at 15. That kind of brings us over to the Arizona Cardinals here. And
yeah, actually, I just got an email about the Arizona Cardinals. The GM has left town and sent me another Post-it.
Oh.
Did you get it?
I got a note here. I got the card turned in, but you got a Post-it as well?
Yeah, I got a Post-it there too. And it was another one from Unnecessary Roughness.
Yeah, it looks like we went another Texas State Fighting Armadillo was selected again.
I believe it's Andre Cream.
And that was definitely a selection there that they went with. They needed that pressure coming up the middle. They wanted a kind of a senior. I think he's about a 5th or 6th year senior there. He had some academics that he didn't quite address a little bit earlier, but this is a good pick for Arizona as they transition and get that defense right going forward. And I'm excited about that. What we got going on there.
Was he only a 5th or 6th year senior? Are you sure he wasn't an 8th year senior?
You know what? He could have been just about anything, but we're gonna kind of move along here. We got the Las Vegas Raiders being represented by General Manager Salito.
I figured.
Oh boy,
Belichick had his dog last year. I figured I'd put my dog.
Yeah, you know.
Now
it's always a pleasure to talk to Sal.
What I will say is, this is my boy here. He passed away last year, but yesterday would have been his birthday. So happy
All
birthday,
right.
S'mores.
So I'm gonna be nice for a little bit, Sal.
Yeah, you shut up, Bill Gilchrist. You're sitting there like you're some kind of highfalutin guy relaxing in his chair with his post-it. You calm. This is my turn now. All right, we're on the board.
Wait, whoa! You just simmer down with your Las Vegas stuff.
Hey, Donnelly, how are you?
Hey, you know what? I'm here. I'm listening to some picks and seeing if we can change some luck of some franchises here. And one of those teams that Lady Luck hasn't been very kind to has been the Las Vegas Raiders. From their trip from LA to Vegas, some holes all over the place. Talk us through this process of the Vegas Raiders here and how we're going to rebuild this franchise moving forward.
Yeah, well, typically we'd make the wrong pick at this point. This is what we do. There's usually people on the board that we should take, and we don't take them, like CD Lamb last year. But why rehash the past? What we need in this draft this year is impact players either on the offensive line or on the defensive side. And some good offensive linemen went. I would have liked to take Turley like Steffi Smalls did, but she grabbed him a few picks earlier. I thought that maybe Bobby Boucher would fall to us here because I'm not sure his mama's going to let him go play football away from home, right? So I thought maybe he'd fall a little bit further than me here, but he didn't. But I was able to find another stud defensive player, and that is Charles Jefferson from Ridgemont High School. Charles Jefferson, as you remember, was the big man on campus, and his brother, who, by the way, is known as Jefferson's little brother. There's no name in the movie. Him and Jeff Spicoli stole his car, wrecked his car, and very intelligently made it look like the rival high school, Lincoln High School, did it. Jefferson went on to absolutely destroy the team. Somehow they won 42-0, but I never saw them on offense once in the entire game. But they did win 42-0. And if you stick around to the end of the game, he does put number 42, the running back, into convulsions. He's carried off the field on a stretcher. And, of course, he rules the day. He is a one-man wrecking crew. And we also see, with all this popularity and fame, it didn't go to his head. He still took care of his little brother, went and bought Earth, Wind, and Fire tickets, if you remember. He's very concerned about giving back. He didn't forget about family. He wanted to make sure he gave back. So, good character. Only takes out his anger on the field. So, I think off field, we got a good guy, and very happy to have a game-changing defensive player coming to Las Vegas in Charles Jefferson.
That's definitely something Vegas needed. Was a game changer there. You pair him with Yannick Ngakoue there and Max Crosby. You kind of got a nice little rotation. Max Crosby kind of struggled a little bit last year because there was nothing opposite of him there. So let's see, maybe Charles Jefferson lights that fire under him there and gets him going with Yannick Ngakoue as well.
Yeah, by the way, smart move by Bob Harris being in this draft, but intelligently staying out of the chat, I noticed. Good move, Bob.
That's why he's a veteran general manager when it comes to this. He kind of keeps to himself there. He's got a feel for what every other team's kind of doing, and then he knows who he wants, and that's who he's going to go get. So, yeah, definitely a veteran move by one of the longest tenured general managers in the league.
Yeah, he's not.
Sal, that's also why he has 30,000 followers more than us.
Yeah, we could combine all the guys on the screen's followers right now. We ain't sniffing.
We're not sniffing. We're not sniffing him.
You're sniffing some glue.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring in the Miami Dolphins general manager to talk about their pick because I'm interested to see what they do here because they got some needs everywhere else. So I'm going to turn this over to Jason Sarney. Kind of talk us through the Miami Dolphins here. Sal, thanks for joining us.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. This has been a blast of a fictional mock draft. I got to say, I was very, very disappointed when Vontae Mack was taken off the board. I had to tear up my Post-it note because that was my no matter what pick. But when looking at what the Dolphins really need, I went to the offensive side of the ball, technically, because I drafted a very rare two-way player in college, a guy who played the offensive line and the defensive line for the Texas State Armadillos. They only won one game, and they tied another game. But Lake Manu Manu, the slender, played center and registered some sacks as a zero tech nose tackle. So I think that the versatility there could play on either one of the trenches. And the Dolphins need a nasty, mean center, much like a Tim Ruddy from back in the day, or even going back further, some of those Dwight Stevenson type Hall of Fame type centers would be nice. Lock came mano mano from the Isle of Samoa.
You're okay? Because he seems like a good character kind of guy too. Someone you want to bring into that locker room.
Respects his elders, very, very, family oriented. And if you ever get into a bar fight, he's the guy you want with you.
You know he's going to be, and he's got some room to grow on that frame too, because, like you said, he's the smallest in the family. So
the runt of the litter.
He's the runt of the litter. He may not be done growing. He may not have hit that peak yet. So
great point.
Are you guys going to be watching his weight going forward? Is that something that your training staff is going to be monitoring as we move forward with this selection?
I'm going to be feeding him more, because he actually looked very, very agile. I mean, if you looked at his get up and go on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, he looks like he's like a 3-4 edge rusher, So this guy, give him more food. I would say sign him up with an Uber Eats or a DoorDash endorsement just to keep it rolling.
That is, you know what? I'm interested to see how this plays out for you. But now we've got the Washington Football Club on the clock. General Manager Robbie in the house. Dilly, over to you, Robbie.
Ladies and gentlemen, first off, cheers to me. Cheers to you. Shout out to the whole entire Dynasty Vipers crew. Dilly.
Dilly.
And on the clock with the 19th overall pick, the Washington Football Team selects Earl Magette from the Meme Machines. We had to go to prison to go ahead and break this guy out.
You know what? This is an interesting pick for me because you've already got Antonio Gibson already in place. So when you guys went with Earl Magette here, what are you thinking? How are you going to use these two on the field at the same time, or one relieving the other? How is this going to work out?
It's going to be
an interesting combo.
It's going to be a 1-2 punch. First in Earl's case, I mean, everybody else it's a crying shame that you left Nelly on the board. This guy in real life was a University City, in St. Louis all-star in his high school career. So not only on screen, but in real life, this guy could have possibly been an NFL star. With that being said, and with that being stated, we're going to utilize these guys in tandem, 1-2 punch. But then also we're going to use him kind of in a way that, in spirit of the drafting tomorrow, a lot of you picture Kenny Gainwell being utilized to give you a pro comparison for those that may not be fully brushed up on their rookies, which you should be brushed up on your 2021 rookies. But if you're not, same way that you see Debo get utilized in jet sweeps or Tyreek Hill get utilized in jet sweeps, we would be utilizing Magette in a lot of the similar situations. If you guys remember in Longest Yard, not only was he able to play in the backfield, but he could go out there and line up at receiver as well.
I'm going to agree with Robbie on that one. I mean, the man was a phenomenal athlete. He might have been a better baseball player than football player, but that kid can play.
Amen. I appreciate you fellas for having me on. Thank you. Earl, welcome to Washington.
All right. You heard it there. Washington has selected Earl Magette to go along with Antonio Gibson and the weapons they're starting to build in Washington. Next on the clock, the Chicago Bears with general manager Roberto Serrano. Roberto, I totally butchered that. I'm confident in that because I'm not allowed to pronounce names. It's kind of one of the rules we have here with the Vipers.
He
what's
never
the
gets
process
the name
here
right.
for the Chicago Bears here? What are you guys looking for, and how did you come to the terms with who you're selecting here?
First of all, howdy, boys. How's it going?
It's going well.
Just so anyone knows. Sorry there, Roberto.
I must be doing something right because I'm the only one Matt didn't kick out.
Yeah, I don't know. You got the sad thing is you've got the power to let yourself back in. So it's like Dino off the Flintstones. So everyone knows that Roberto is our special Viper member. He's the antsy Viper.
Yes, that's true.
Oh my! I get the special privileges. But here, with regards to this Bear squad, right, we have a whole lot of needs. We really do. But we need to solve the most important need right now, and that is the quarterback position. It's been something we've been trying to figure out for quite some time. So with this selection, we are going to take Joe Kane from ESU, Eastern State University. We're very happy about this pick.
That's a great pick.
It's a great pick. We believe that as well.
He's kind of what you would consider a kind of that lunch pail kind of guy, that blue chip prospect. You know, he's going to come to work every day. He had some Heisman hype about him when he was with the ESU there. They kind of fizzled towards the end, but he was hyped right up going into the regular season there. Can we get that rekindled going forward? Is that what Chicago's banking on here? Is a rejuvenated Joe Kane?
The talent is there. He's had some issues, right? On the field, he's been delivering. It's off the field, right? So, you know, been battling. He had an alcoholic father. So some family issues, you know, dealt with a little bit of alcoholism himself. But we're looking for somebody who can overcome those obstacles, my friends. We're talking about perseverance here, right? That is a sign of leadership, looking for improvements in your life. He made them, right? He's a leader of men. I think he proved that with his final game at ESU right there, right, to make them eligible for a major bowl game after missing 4 games for being in a substance abuse program. So we like that. We feel like he's grown from that. We feel like he's overcome a lot, and now we feel like he's ready to get things going and help the Bears eventually become Super Bowl champs, but not just one Super Bowl. I'm talking about multiple titles here. All right, you know, we want to win at least 3. That's our goal with him as the QB, and we feel he's the right fit at the right time. A little bit of old school Jim McMahon in him, I think. Some moxie, some attitude. He's welcome aboard, Joe Kane. Chicago's gonna love him.
Matt, is Robert off yet? Because I think that Chicago just made another bad pick.
Oh my God!
Well, it's gonna be interesting. I think they're going to need.
No, this is not. This is the right pick. We've made a lot of bad.
This is a risky pick for a team that just took Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes.
Bob, this is no time to look in the past. Okay, you know we're moving forward. We're focused on the future. We've made some bad selections. It's a new day. We've turned over a new leaf. Not to be confused with Ryan Leaf. We've turned over.
That's good. Another good one.
We love the pick, Matt. Okay, at least can you approve, Matt? Do you like?
Let's move on.
I think you guys got your quarterback. This is a very deep quarterback class for a player of Joe Kane's caliber. If you're banking on the potential and where he was and that Heisman hype, I think you guys got yourselves a good one.
Thank you, Matt.
Indianapolis GM is having some issues here, so we're going to bring him in when we get a chance. The pick is in. They are going with an offensive tackle with this selection, and it's going to be another name I'm going to butcher here because they are going with Jumbo Famiko from the Washington Sentinels. So I'm going to pump that in there, and hopefully Mike can get with us here right away. So we'll get this pick in here right now, and when he can get here to join us, we will let him talk about that pick. Meanwhile,
I think Matt bastardized that name.
Well, that's just kind of his thing.
Just
you know what?
Yeah,
that's pretty much on.
We don't fact check him, Matt. Matt's just a fact check person.
This is a fact check free zone. Okay, fact check free zone.
Oh my gosh.
So hopefully he can join us here shortly. But we know the pick is in. Jumbo Famiko from the Washington Sentinels. Roberto, thank you for joining us. We are going to move on to the Tennessee Titans selection here.
Adios, my friends.
Adios. Joining us now, we have General Manager Oh, wait. We're going to bring Mike in here real quick before we move to the Titans.
Sorry,
Mike, how you doing?
Difficulties. I'm doing good, Matt. How are you doing?
Doing all right there. So we announced the pick there, Jumbo Famicco. I'll let you. I think that's about the fourth different way I've pronounced his name since we've selected him. I will let you talk about why you guys went there and how this helps the Colts moving forward.
And maybe you can pronounce his name right.
Yeah,
someone's got to.
I'll give it a shot, Bob. Fumiko. How about that? Does that work?
Better than what I was saying.
I have no idea. I have to watch the movie again to find out. Yeah, so basically with the retirement of Anthony Costanzo, which was very unfortunate for the Colts, but so when you feel that need, and we're going to go with Fumiko, who's, has a very good background in sumo wrestling. So he knows how to use his hands. He knows how to use those feet and hands interchangeably. Get good body control. Knows how to stalemate his opponent with all that sumo wrestling background. There is a problem with his arm length. So he's definitely probably right tackle only for the Colts. Can't really move him over to left, which was Anthony Costanzo's position. So Braden Smith is going to move over from left to right, and we're going to put Fumiko over to right tackle, wide body, of course. Though, very good instincts. I mean, if you saw that play where the ball ricochets off the defender's mask from Falco, and he pulls it in and runs it in for a touchdown and does the fat man touchdown. The dude has great instincts. So we're very proud to announce Jumbo Fumiko for the Indianapolis Colts.
All right. Well, Mike, we'd love to hear a little bit more here, but we're going to move on to third and short in the Tennessee Titans here at the selection. If you want to stick around, we'll get back to this pick a little bit. With that said, third and short, who do you guys got with the Tennessee Titans?
The Tennessee Titans selected Ricky Jarrett, the wide receiver from the show Ballers, HBO. So Titans' biggest needs going into this season were the wide receiver and secondary positions. We filled a couple needs in the edge rush. I don't think they're the answer, but I feel like this was the best talent left on the board right now. He is a proven NFL receiver, not just high school, college. He's proven he can do it. He has some off the field issues, but there are things I can live with. I mean, sleeping with another player's mom, whatever. There were some things I could live with. I feel like he was in the later part of his career, and he's got his head on straight. He was trained in the offseason with Julian Edelman, and Danny Amendola, and I feel like the Titans are the prime location for a receiver like that who's finally ready to get his act together. He had high upside, and behind AJ Brown right now, we have Cameron Batson and Josh Reynolds. So that just doesn't sit well with me. This is the pick I had to go with right now. It kills me not to fill our secondary right now, but I feel like this was the best talent on the board.
Well, I like that. The former USC product there. And you mentioned it. If you're okay with him sleeping with the other players on your team's wives, then this could be a morale booster for your squad. So
there's been a couple of instances of that in the NFL, and actually it happened in the NHL.
NHL, NBA, there was something with LeBron and
it happened with the Boston Bruins.
That doesn't surprise me in Massachusetts there, does it, Bob?
No, not at all. The one kid slept with a player's wife.
That's
we'll leave that alone
in sports. So as long as you're comfortable with that situation, that going in, do you think that's going to kind of create a little animosity within the locker room, or do you think that's something that these guys are going to be mature enough to kind of let go, or how's this going to work out?
I think the Titans locker room is the place for that sort of thing to straighten that kind of behavior out. I mean, it's a pretty solid organization. You don't hear about a lot of off the field issues there. The player himself, he was modeled after Terrell Owens. If we can get a Terrell Owens like player with that kind of upside, I know a lot of people think Antonio Brown is kind of the mold there, but actually Antonio Brown did a lot of the stuff Ricky Jarrett did after he did it. So he's more so modeling his game after Ricky Jarrett. I feel like the Titans, they're mature. You don't hear about off the field issues a lot, and and that's what he needs right now.
All right. Well, we got about 1 minute here. We're waiting for Seattle to come in. They are officially on the clock. I just want to swing it back over to Mike there in the Indianapolis Colts there. Just kind of talk more about Jumbo there.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
I can say the word there for my times.
Anybody that can eat like 50 eggs in one sitting, I think is pretty remarkable. So not only does he know how to eat, but he also knows how to spray it around. We just need him to calm down with the eating and get on the treadmill, and I think he'll be all right.
50 eggs. That's pretty amazing. I think
that's impressive. That's at least 47 more than I could do.
I think I can only eat 3. And after that, I'm tapping out. I'm done.
If they're scrambled, I could probably put down half dozen.
No, they're
scrambled. Seems like cheating. These are like hard boiled, were they not?
Yeah, they're hard boiled.
You scramble them and throw them with a little bit of cheese and bacon. I can put down a half dozen, no problem. But if you're talking hard boiled, there might be 1.
Yeah, he's a pretty amazing feat, pretty amazing dude. We're happy to have him.
All right, well, we're going to bring the Pittsburgh Steelers general manager Herms in here while we're waiting. The card has been turned in by the Seattle Seahawks, so we'll let the Pittsburgh Steelers go. Indianapolis, Tennessee, thanks for joining us. I guess we'll see you guys next year.
Indianapolis, number 1 now. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So, Herbs, we're waiting for Seattle to come into the room here. We've got their pick. Their card's already in. Let's move on here. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and who you guys went with.
Oh, geez. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to talk about this pick. We were kind of hoping that Earl Meggett was going to fall. We know we really need a running back super bad in Pittsburgh. But, we were looking at who was available, and we came across a guy who, okay, he got into a bar fight. There might be some character issues. It is what it is. But, hey, we did our research. And, hey, he's the son of a, former NFL star, Ray Jennings, running back out of Florida State. I think, this dude, he's got all the juice. He's got the bloodline. He's got the talent. And honestly, I mean, if I had to compare him to an NFL player, he screams Arian Foster. There's something about it. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's a connection between running back Ray Jennings and Arian Foster. Like, I swear to God, they're almost the same person. So if we're gonna fix this run game, we got to do it with a stud running back like that. And I feel like this is a good step in the right direction. You know what I mean? So shout out, welcome Ray Jennings to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think that's a good comparison.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the tape and you're just like, I swear to God, I swear that guy's Arian Foster, but he's not. Different name, completely different person.
Yeah.
Wow. But dude, oof, man, and hey, as long as his hands are good, as long as he didn't bash up his hands too bad in that bar fight, you got to hold on to the ball. You got to make sure your head's on straight too. You don't want to be fighting too many people. The only thing we want him fighting for is extra yards on the play. That's all I care about. Boom. It would have been nice to go with an offensive lineman, but so many really talented guys already went ahead. But hey, I feel like we got our guy. That's what matters at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely. I think you nailed the comparison there I think he's Arian Foster with draft capital behind him. And you put that little bit of a bloodline in there. Arian Foster, we watched for a few years there. He did fantastic. Probably the most decorated undrafted free agent that we've ever seen. He came in right away, made some big plays. And I think Jennings has got that bloodline there. His dad kind of was schmoozing with the Cleveland Browns at one point. And now his son is heading to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that should make some interesting conversations going forward.
100%.
With that said, Herms, thanks for joining us. We are going to bring in the general manager of the Seattle Seahawks now to talk about their pick here that they just made.
We are the Seahawks.
Andy.
What's going on, guys? Happy to
Not much.
Happy to be joining you here. Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure I do this right. Sorry, I'm double dipping right now.
Yeah, I know. We know you made your guys' announcement. You were just talking with ESPN about that move.
I'm actually doing another show. I jumped in because you said you only needed me for 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm here to tell you why we went with the steal of the draft, Steph Djorkovic, out of Ampi High in the Pittsburgh region of Pennsylvania. This kid is not only productive on the field, but is a solid and stupendous teammate. I mean, listen, when his best friend, Brian Riley, got his girlfriend pregnant, he was there for him. He was there emotionally for him. He stuck by his side. He did not, mock. He did what he needed to do as a best friend, right? When the coach was going after Salvucci, it was not a fluke. It was a fumble. This happens, right? He was a great teammate once again. This guy went and got the respect of the coach, that the coach came full circle and had to come back around and personally recruit him and offer him a full ride to the powerhouse football program we know as Cal Poly. So that is not even touching on the marketing potential that this guy has. I mean, he's got Tom Cruise looks, which I think future Hollywood star. So, I mean, this is a safety that I want, and safeties in Seattle have always been synonymous with each other. So I'm happy to have this. I think the 12th man will be happy to have this, and I'm ready to rock with Steph.
He's a good-looking kid. He's got a face that you can market right out there for sure, and he likes to lay the lumber. So he definitely fits that mold of Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, of the Seahawk secondary,
Jamal
Legion
Adams,
of Boom.
right? Listen,
Jamal Adams.
the Jamal Adams replacement now. Or they could play together side by side for a couple of years. He could learn the ropes. So there we go. I'm happy with this selection here.
And you should be. That's a great selection there, bringing in that young. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name because I'll butcher that too, because I've butchered every name we've talked about, even Beeman. I'm sure I said that wrong a couple times. So with that being said, I'm not going to even try it again.
Listen, Matt, how are we going to win? Together.
Together. I can say together.
There you go. That was the big locker room speech.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we get all rawed up and we're ready to go.
How's this been going? I know you said 2 to 3 minutes. You don't want to go all night, but how's this been going so far?
It's going. We're only a couple minutes behind schedule, so we're doing pretty good. We're
like a typical New Yorker,
Right.
How's this been going?
Well, I'm happy to have come in and had a couple sips of coffee with you guys. I'm excited to see who's picking behind me. With Pittsburgh, so I'll let you guys break that one down.
All right. Well, Pittsburgh had selected Ray Jennings.
See you guys later.
So with the 24th pick, Pittsburgh went with Ray Jennings, and now we're heading to La La Land there with the Los Angeles Rams and general manager Jeremy Schulman. How you doing, Jeremy?
What's up, boys? How's it going? I'm rocking the new LA Rams jerseys just for the occasion. But pretty good. It's about pushing 5 a.m. here in Amsterdam. So we're burning the candle at both ends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
That is crazy. Usually around 5 a.m., I'm getting ready to use the washroom. So I'm not too far behind.
Listen, I heard once that sleep is for the weak. Now I realize that sleep is for the healthy and well-adjusted. So we'll get there one day. But speaking of healthy and well-adjusted, we picked a really high character guy here for the Rams at 25. He fell a bunch of spots. Bob mentioned him much earlier as someone he was considering at 15 for the Patriots, who we do have to represent a little bit. That guy's Forrest Gump out of Alabama. There were a lot of other team needs on the clock for the Rams. We need interior line on the offensive side of the ball, maybe a speedy deep threat since D-Jax is getting a bit up there in age. And, of course, anything along the defensive line only helps to bolster that big unit. And then linebacker is always a need. But at this point in the draft, Gump fell too far, and we just had to select him and just make both our backfield and our kick return game that much better.
Look, he's basically going to return the ball to the end zone every time. So it's a great investment, in my opinion.
So
he's the greatest.
Concern is, I do have a concern with this though. When he runs to the end zone, is he going to stop running, or is he going to get to the end zone and not come back? Is this a concern that the Rams are going to have?
Sure, but you got a smart guy over there in McVay. He's going to be able to coach him up and let him know exactly what he needs to do. And then, of course, Alabama solved this problem by having the whole stadium scream stop and make signs. I think in LA, we're not going to have any issue with creating signage and making sure that he knows the direction that he needs to go. I mean, look, this is not, this is not a guy who's going to ace the Wonderlic test, but this is also something that we were aware of before we made the selection with McVay using kind of singular looks and running multiple packages off it. It's not like Gum's going to have trouble picking up the playbook. So we're not that concerned about it. Really, we're just going to ask him to run in a straight line, whether that's vertically down the field or horizontally. He can do both, and we'll make sure that he adds that speedy dimension to our team that we're always looking to bring.
All right. Well,
all you really have to do, because it's still COVID protocols, is just have cones that reroute him around the stadium to run back in when it's time for kickoff again.
This is why we do these
That's
things,
true.
right?
I mean, and we can also just throw up some gates that he can't get out. I mean, there's ways around that that weren't there in 1955. There are different ways we can go around making Forrest stop.
Listen, I'm taking notes. This is why we get together and we do these sorts of things so that we can pick each other's brain and figure out solutions to these complex problems.
And speaking of complex problems, one team that doesn't have those complex problems is the Cleveland Browns. Jeremy, we're going to have to move along here. We're going to go to Cleveland here for the next selection.
Enjoy, guys.
General Manager Shane Barrett, how you doing?
I am great, especially because I feel I got the steal of the draft with the 101 of everyone's hearts and the 101 on the field. The pick is in. It is Air Bud. How Air Bud slipped this at pick 26. He's an incredibly versatile player with speed and hands. Can play any position, I think, with that talent. And he's a winner. He doesn't lose. He wins in everything. And he's a multi-sport athlete. So he's going to have that versatility and athleticism to play any position. And I think I drafted him for defense, to be honest, because that's where I feel like Cleveland needs to beef up. But throw him in at the slot and let him run wild there too.
Do you think that maybe he dropped in drafts because hand Twitter got a hold of him and he didn't quite measure up with the other receivers and the hand sizes?
Yeah, easily. And hand size, like for a player like this, doesn't matter. The speed, the quick, and the agility to get all over the field, he's going to be open. His hand size isn't going to matter because he'll be able to catch anything.
What's his potential mustache growth going forward?
If it's Air Bud Senior we're talking about, I'm not sure.
I mean,
I know
does he have Donnelly mustache potential, or is it going to be more like myself?
Searfox? We'll go right in the middle. We'll say he can match the GM. Go with my mustache.
All right.
Well, Cleveland, hopefully Air Bud's bark is not as loud as his bite. Hopefully he's got a bigger bite to him than what some draft pundits have been putting out there so far. With that being said, we've got the general manager of the Baltimore Ravens stepping in here for pick number 27.
What's going on, guys? Ron Fox 534, and the Baltimore Ravens come in. Two big needs. We're looking at edge rusher and wide receiver, but I couldn't pass up Charlie Tweeter here from the West Canaan Coyotes. He catches everything in sight while he's undersized. He goes across the middle. He's scrappy. He makes plays. In the 23rd district championship, he blocked the punt to get the ball back for the team. He caught the game-winning hook and ladder before passing off his teammate. The kid makes plays all over the field. We have some off-field stuff that we can deal with. Still a cop car when he was a kid, but I think we can get around that with what he brings to the field and to that receiving core.
So are you going to chalk that up to the cop car incident? 'Cause that's one that was televised. It was talked about a lot. It's been brought up time and time again as this process has kind of played out. Are you going to chalk that up as young and dumb, and we can work through that? And everything you've kind of talked to him, has he been kind of remorseful for those actions, taking ownership of that? Is that something you're going to look for? And he does kind of give you that Edelman, Wes Welker kind of feel, that security blanket for Lamar Jackson going forward, does he not?
Yeah, I think it's a young and dumb thing. It allegedly happened. I know the video was there, but it was a little bit fuzzy, and there were no charges. So we can look past that. It's kind of just been pushed under the bridge. It's how things have gone in West Canaan. But he's everything Jackson needs. They need that safety blanket who's not going to drop the ball, and he catches everything in sight. He has the great touchdown celebrations to go with it. The kid's just a winner on the football field.
And you can't replace that. He knows how to win. He's the kind of the guy who's going to bring everyone together as well. And I think Baltimore kind of hit the jackpot on that, because you got to not only get a receiver, because that's a position you guys have a need. You got Marquise Brown that can stretch a defense. You've got Mark Andrews that can kind of create mismatches, but you don't really have that other threat, that other option currently on the field other than the running game.
Yeah, exactly. He's bringing what they wanted Willie Snead to actually be, but wasn't.
All right. Well, I think that was a fantastic little breakdown there of Charlie Tweeter, the latest member of the Baltimore Ravens. Ryan, thanks for stopping in here. We're going to move along to the New Orleans Saints and selection number 28 with general manager Calvin Shoemake, Calvin and Hobby, a.k.a. the co-host with the most, bringing it in here.
Well, I'm really excited to be filling in here as the Saints general manager. And, we had to think a little bit outside of the box with this pick. And the New Orleans Saints have had a lot of success with teams with players who have had devastating leg injuries in their history. Look at what we did with Teddy Bridgewater. We rehabilitated his career, gave him an opportunity to come back. And now there's not one, but two teams that have decided to take him on after that injury and us rehabilitating him. So nothing outside of what we're used to. Best doctors on the planet. It was tough to watch what happened to Alvin Mack on the field at the end of his career there at ESU, but fully believe that he's able to do everything that we need him to do. You got to have the quarterback of the defense. And if nothing else, he's a guy that's going to light a fire underneath everybody on your team. He's going to talk as much trash as anybody. He's going to intimidate. Little puny Matt Ryan's going to be shaking in his boots. All of the people out back there that he's going to have to deal with are going to be shaking and crying when they see him in the backfield. And look at his NFL bloodline, right? He got an unprecedented 28 redshirt years, and he's coming out as a 50-year-old. But his son, Khalil Mack, played in the NFL, and his nephew, Marlon Mack, was a great running back for the Colts. So NFL bloodlines, don't usually see it the opposite way, but Alvin Mack has it. And we like him.
Well, and the really interesting thing about Alvin Mack is his other son currently plays it, or he's currently in this draft class as well, Wyatt Davis, the lineman. So this is a very interesting. You don't get a father and son drafted in the same year very often. I don't think this has ever been done. This is unprecedented territory. So as Alvin Mack said, put the women and children to bed because we're going out for dinner, I think was his famous line, paraphrasing it somewhat.
Yes.
You're getting yourself an intense individual there on the defensive side of the ball. And kind of a good all-around guy. He's got that demeanor on there, but off the field, he's got that tough guy still, but he's still a team player. You guys you're okay with the injury history and stuff? You've checked that out? Your medical team's got given the green light?
100%. And we, like I said, we rehabilitated, Teddy Bridgewater came in after his devastating knee injury. We had no problem getting him back, into competing at an NFL level. And, it's unconventional, but there's not a lot of wear and tear on his 50-year-old body. We think he's got plenty left in the tank to lead this defense.
Well, that's fantastic there, because you guys do need a little bit of help there on the defensive side of the ball. Demario Davis, he's not getting any younger anymore. Cameron Jordan there on the edge. He could use a little bit of help there in the middle. So this is a good roster move for you guys. And it kind of gives you that intimidation, because I don't think there's going to be very many teams that are going to want to come over the middle because they know Alvin Mack is going to be there.
Well, yeah, he's going to be there because he won't be able to go anywhere else.
Yeah, we really trust our evaluation on it. We think he's going to be able, he's not going to have any limitations. Might take it easy in the preseason, a little bit, but I think it's going to be full go at once we get in the real thick of things when we need him.
All right. Speaking of the real thick of things here, we're going to head over to the Green Bay Packers general manager, Tara Roberts here. Last year, they kind of took a swing and a miss on Jordan Love. It'd be interesting to hear what the Packers are planning on doing in the 2021 draft.
Well, I wouldn't call it a miss. We just plan ahead. But, to start off, first of all, hope you guys are doing great. As a longtime Packers fan, obviously, I am thrilled that the organization called me and asked me to be the next manager purely for being a passionate fan and having zero experience. I mean, it was a dream come true. But in terms of Green Bay, I mean, you got to understand that we're just 20 steps ahead of the competition at all times at a bare minimum. And we draft for the future's future. So Jordan Love's time is coming in the future. But it's time for us to go ahead and prepare for Jordan Love's replacement. So we're also 90% certain that Aaron Rodgers is going to be retiring from Jeopardy pretty soon and taking over as Jeopardy host. So we just really, really got to get prepared. And quite frankly, A.J. Dillon is getting pretty old here. He's not getting any younger. And we need to go ahead and plan for running back of the future as well. So our pick is going to be a quarterback, and he's more than capable of being a running back. And with this pick, we'll be solidifying our team for the next 10 years at quarterback and running back. And honestly, I was more than willing to trade up for him because as a Packer, that's what we do. So, just to give you an idea of this guy, before he transferred to his current school, he actually played defensive back. So he's just a pure athlete. He can play both ways. And while that's not typically seen at the NFL level, we as an organization, we love doing things that you don't typically see at the NFL level. So we're cool with this. So our pick is going to be playing on the defensive side of the ball while he's waiting for his turn at quarterback and running back. So most importantly, we're very excited that this guy is also from California. He's from California. And Aaron Rodgers is also from California. And I'm not saying that we're drafting a future Hall of Famer, but I am saying that we're drafting a future Hall of Famer. And we're looking forward to the next 15 years. And I can guarantee that you will see this guy doing a fake 23 blast with a backside George reverse like his life depended on it very, very soon in the next 10 years. So with all of that said, with the 29th pick of the 2021 draft, the Green Bay Packers have selected Sunshine Ronnie Bass from T.C. Williams High School. He is the most dynamic player in the draft.
Don't let that little schoolboy look long hair thing fool you, because he's not afraid to mix it up a little bit too. And he's not he likes to have a little fun when he's out on the field. So that's could be an interesting mixture going straight from Aaron Rodgers to Ronnie Bass. Similar demeanor almost, it seems. So maybe we're leading this team going forward here. Speaking of leading teams going forward, we've got the general manager of the Buffalo Bills joining us as well to make the 30th selection in the draft.
Matt, can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to go out on a limb, even though we have 3 picks left. But Tara actually nailed the introduction of her draft rather than everyone else.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. The Packers trained me well. Thank you so much.
I mean, nobody else said with the, 1-0 whatever. She nailed it.
I got faith Jeff's going to do it now, though.
Well, he's got the insight now, but that was the first one that I've noticed all night long.
Thank you, guys. I try.
And I'm very happy that I got to catch that and the knowledge. And Tara, I think you did a fantastic job. I'm very happy to be on the clock here representing my Buffalo Bills as general manager. I saw all these other picks come off the board, and no knock on you, Tara, but certainly I've seen people taking high schoolers and questions like that. And I knew when I was on the clock, I needed to identify some pro-ready talent. And I looked around and looked for a guy that I've seen making plays at the professional level. And that leads me to, with the 30th pick in the Viper Pit mock draft, I am taking number 86, Ward, from the Gotham Rogues. We saw his explosive athletic ability when he took a kickback while the world was exploding around him. And I am not sure his first name. There's a lot we don't know about this player, but I'm going to go out on a limb that we've seen him able to contribute in special teams, but he reminded me of another guy that wore black and yellow. And so my hopes is that he can take over the slot role from Cole Beasley as Cole Beasley starts to age out a little bit and provide some of that value on a rookie contract. So again, number 86, Ward from the Gotham Rogues, is going to be joining my Buffalo Bills.
That is an interesting pick because when the whole world's falling apart around him, he seemed to be able to be calm and cool and collective. But when the world's falling apart, can you trust this guy to finish the job? Because I was watching the game film there, and when push came to shove, he couldn't get the return going.
He scored, Matt. He scored. He turned around and
he did. He did score.
He did score.
He scored and he turned around and nobody was behind him.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, everyone that was chasing him fell into this big crevice.
So I'm very concerned about his environment.
That's not how you did it. There's no pictures on the stat book.
That's right. But I am concerned about his environment because there's a lot up in the air, and I'm not sure if he is safe and well, but I hope that he's joining my franchise.
Well, that's great. You guys are so close to the Super Bowl last year there. I really thought you were going to do it. I even put myself through a table because I was jumping onto the Bills Mafia bandwagon there a little bit. Unfortunately, the Kansas City Chiefs and general manager David here, they knocked you guys out on their way to the Super Bowl. And the rich seem to get richer because at pick 31, David, who are you guys going with? What's the selection? And, why'd you go this route?
We do a lot of scouting over here in Kansas City. We got to make sure we can beat all those Buffalo Bills, all those Pittsburgh Steelers, all those Baltimore Ravens in our conference. And you know how we like to do it in Kansas City. We're all about offense. And we saw an All-American still on the board. And this All-American, not only can he play with multiple quarterbacks, he can be in multiple environments. I mean, hell, the dude even got shot, and he's coming back and balling. That dude is Mr. Spencer James, setting records at multiple schools. And my man gets slipped on this entire draft. It's just a diamond in the rough to slip to us at 31. And him, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, with my guy Patrick Mahomes. I mean, go ahead. The over-under on our games is going to at least be probably 70 points, 40 of those coming from us consistently. The rich get richer, like you said. I just can't believe the receiver, his caliber, fell to us at this spot.
All right, so I'm going to start off with saying that I feel slighted that you didn't even mention the Patriots.
Not anymore. As long as Cam is there, I'll feel okay.
Fair enough.
And with that said, we are now moving on to the Super Bowl champions.
Oh. And
we will let Coach JB kind of gloat this a little bit. Dave, you can stick around and watch this if you want. I'm sure you already seen all the confetti once this year already. I don't know if you want to see it go again, but
do you have the confetti button ready?
You know what? I would touch the confetti button, but I'm pretty sure I'd lose everything else here. I've somehow managed to lose the Chargers and the Vikings picks, and I can't get it back on the board. But this is me working with technology. It's probably not a good thing. JB, you got the last pick of the first round. Where are you going?
It was tough. It was really tough because, this is a team that doesn't really have needs. We're the Super Bowl champs. We got our whole starting lineup returning this year. So I really could have gone any direction with this pick. And there was a lot of good players left on the board. I mean, Al Bundy scored 4 touchdowns in a single game at Polk High, but that's all we got out of him. So we don't know if we could get any more from him. Steve Latimer from the program, but he was on roids. He can't bring that to the NFL with him. Tim Riggins from Friday Night Lights, but we didn't really need a running back because that room was crowded already. So what I decided to do with the 32nd pick in the 2021 draft, the Bucs selected Billy Bob from Varsity Blues in the West Canaan High School team to give us some depth in the offensive line. I mean, we had Alex Kappa go down at the end of last year. Thankfully, we were able to kind of plug in to get us that Super Bowl title. But just to get a little depth on that offensive line, I think Billy Bob is a big guy. I mean, I think the concussion concerns is what had him slip a little bit in this draft. I mean, to see Louis Lastic go so early and Billy Bob just slip this far, I mean, I had to grab that value there. And look, they scanned his cat and they said he could play. So I'm not concerned about the concussion.
I feel like that's
Well,
a good value pick at that point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, he's a guy who you want on your team. I mean, he's got a pet pig. He could puke and rally with the best of them. And he even asked his stripper teacher to the prom with him. So, I mean, this is a guy you want on your team. He scored the game-winning touchdown on the trick play. I mean, when I asked him what he thought about the fit with coming on to the Bucs, he gave it a 10. A 10.
Yeah, that's a Brady pick right there.
Got to protect the franchise, man.
I'm sure. And Brady, you've only got probably another 15 years of Tom Brady down in Tampa Bay. So you want to make sure that, and maybe TB12 can get Billy Bob a little bit slimmer and trimmer, a little meaner and leaner, like Lasik. We talked about what Louis done and how he's transformed his body. Maybe Billy Bob can get that same transformation thanks to the TB12 program.
Exactly. And he goes on the TB12 diet, and you never know. I mean, he could stick around for that whole 15 years that Brady's still here. So, I mean, I think the Bucs need to protect their franchise. Bringing in an offensive lineman was the way to go. I thought about going kicker. There was two good kickers there. Nigel Gruff and Lucy Draper was still on the board. But the Bucs don't have the best history with drafting kickers. So I decided to just not go that route.
That's probably better because I think that's still a fresh wound in a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans there. The Roberto Aguero selection from a few years past. And I do think that Gruff has a little bit of concerns with me. He might be point shaving there a little bit on the side. But I think Lucy Draper, I think she's a surefire Hall of Famer, almost like a Sebastian Janikowski was when the Raiders selected him in the first round years and years ago. And is now
that's what they said about Aguayo, too.
And Grammatica.
The answer's never... The answer is never Aguayo. You know what? I'm just going to butcher that name too. So
yeah, let's go with Grammatica.
Roberto. I can do Roberto.
There you go. Roberto works.
But
this was great.
I'm glad everyone could join. I'm going to whip through this here real quick here. We have now concluded the first round, so we're just going to do a quick recap. The Jacksonville Jaguars selected Willie Beeman first overall. The Jets went with Reno Hightower, and the 49ers went with a third quarterback in a row, taking Paul Crewe from the Mean Machine, who also had 5 players selected in total in the draft, leading all teams in that respective perspective, so to speak. After Paul Crewe came Bobby Boucher to Atlanta, Deacon Moss, the wide receiver, to the Bengals, Victor Cyborg Stone, he went to the Texans. And we talked about Jimmy Nix there from the LA Stallions making his way to Detroit. Louis Lastic from TC Williams High is the newest member of the Carolina Panthers. Denver Broncos took another quarterback to pair with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater and Shane Falco. The Dallas Cowboys add a little bit of edge pressure there with the acquisition of TC Williams High, Julius Campbell. Mean Machine was represented at pick number 11 with the New York Giants and Turley. Rod Tidwell adds a little bit of wide receiver flair to the Philadelphia Eagles. The LA Chargers were looking for a little more protection. Also went back to the Mean Machine, took Schochner. The Minnesota Vikings were next up at pick 14, and they went with the versatile P.D. Jones, followed by the Patriots and Vonta Mack, who was maybe one of the steals of this draft. As any other draft, he could have been the 101. Next up, the Cardinals at pick 16, Andre Krim out of Texas State. That's not the only Texas State armadillo that was in the draft. Next up, the Raiders went with Richmond High's Charles Jefferson. And now the moment of truth. The Dolphins selected Lakai Manamano out of Texas State as well. Washington paired Antonio Gibson with Earl Maggot, again from the Mean Machine. Joe Kane is taking his talents to Chicago at pick 20. The The Indianapolis Colts at 21 with Jumbo Famiko from the Washington Sentinels. The Titans then selected wide receiver Ricky Jarrett. And at pick 23, oh man, this is the name I can't even come close to pronouncing. Yurtovich, Stefan Yurtovich out of Ampipe, going to the Seattle Seahawks. Ray Jennings out of Florida State, very comparable to a Arian Foster player, goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Forrest Gump to the Rams. The Browns at pick 26 went a little bit, well, they stuck with the dog pound theme and went with Air Bud. The Ravens then selected Charlie Tweeter to help out Lamar Jackson. At pick 28, the Saints selected Alvin Mack out of Eastern State University. At pick 29, the Green Bay Packers selected Sunshine Ronnie Bass out of TC Williams. Another quarterback, back-to-back years. They took a quarterback in the first round. The Bills at pick 30 took, we'll call him 86 Ward out of the Gotham Rogues. At pick 31, the Kansas City Chiefs selected South Crenshaw's Spencer James, and the Bucks concluded the draft with the selection of Billy Bob from West Cannon High School. And with that, we have recapped the entire draft, and we're done. There's no more. We were thinking about doing a round 2 tomorrow, but that's probably not happening.
Tomorrow's probably pretty busy.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm going to have to do some explaining about tonight yet before I go to bed. But I want to thank every single one of the analysts who came on tonight, all 32 of them that took place in the mock draft that also came in and kind of presented on here as well. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming on, talking about your selections. And I hope we had a little bit of fun. I hope people who are watching had some fun in watching this. And again, thank you. And we're gone. And happy draft season, because we are now, this time tomorrow, we should be almost concluding the first round of the actual NFL draft. And then you'll really see me cry when the Raiders make a selection in that. So again, for Bob, for JB, we're out of here.